pep rock beats playing in the background for now. And again, welcome. Yes, Shop Studio, but having drama in various aspects of my life spilling into Shop Studios. Got HOA issues in the midst of a pandemic. I mean, we got freaking. Oh, we got freaking moratorium on evictions, mortgage foreclosures, etc., etc. And yes, and here I got an HOA that is breathing down my neck because I have to move some of my classic cars that our company is rebuilding, and so I'm temporarily housing them in my driveway, covered, right? Um, there's a guy around the corner in a two-story house that I'm sure is double the most expensive house in our neighborhood, literally a block away, has two Porsches, um, and some other cars, of which he keeps both of his Porsches under car covers. I doubt his neighbors are crying, and I doubt there's any change to his real estate value, right? But the HOA, they have a vendetta against me. They don't like that I have these cool cars sitting out there. Well, they're undercovers anyway. I mean, if they weren't undercovers, they would be even cooler, really, because they're pretty actually cool cars. I get people leaving me notes trying to buy them. They're that cool. So I don't know when the last time someone left a note on your car that was a hunk of junk that you were getting ready to work on, quote unquote. Not really hunk of junk, just in that it's not like it's running, kind of thing. So some people might consider that a hunk of junk. I don't know. Anyway, so tonight's episode is what did I call it? The rain in Spain. I don't know. I, I'm not going to get into explaining all of my titles. I'm going to leave it at some explanation. I mean, you guys can figure it out. Hold on, let me. There, something funky going on. Oh no, man! I dropped the camera, I think, and now it's dislodged. And anyway, if you notice this, like there's a black line or something. It's like off center. Whatever. I'm pretty sure I broke the camera. There's gonna be a point where I throw some budget at this show, and then it's gonna be like, I don't know, unrecognizable. Unrecognizable show. I don't know, but the content will basically be the same. What is it? What is the content? Well, it's us getting through the bullshit. Looks like we've got one person live with us. You know, sometimes we look through cut through the bullshit together, um, through the archives. You know, you don't have to catch it live every time, but you know, that's the idea. And if you get pissed off enough about something that we're talking about, put it in the comments because I do address the comments. We did have some folks that, or one person that gave some very formative feedback about when Wally Doo was on the show. I don't know if you guys remember that. So check out the show, check out the comment. It's not really something I could probably address so much now or whatever, but you know, whatever. I did adjust the lighting. I don't think I'm doing the right job, but I also am putting very little. I'll be honest with you. It's just sometimes this show creeps up on me. It's like the crazy life. I know a lot of people out there are living a crazy life. You know, I think we have another, sort of another kind of weird phenomenon going on. We have like this upside down situation where I have this feeling some people are exceedingly busy working overtime, or people who have work are working extremely hard, and then people who aren't, like they are either receiving unemployment or something, and they're just sort of coasting along, um, because and it's sort of understandable, unless you know, well, yeah, it's sort of understandable. We have I believe, convince me I'm wrong in the comments or live comments or in the archive comments. Convince me I'm wrong, please. That, dang it, what was I trying to get you to convince me of? I can't remember, but I did notice what what distracted me. Superfan Chris is on. What is up? Superfan Chris is here. Yes. Oh, I was. Ah, man, the lighting sucks. But I was gonna show you some cool upholstery for Blue Boy back here. The upholstery's coming out. I'm surprised. I got, yeah. You'll be surprised. Superfan Chris and Superfan Chris understands what's going on with this project behind me. Um, I think eventually I'm gonna start part of a like the channel or something that will um, highlight some of the projects that we're working on. Can't show you too much of what's going on in some cases. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that. I feel like you should know. There should be some interesting stories, and you should see what's going on. But on the other hand, I don't know. Sometimes there's just you get these trolls. Sometimes you can learn from trolls. So speaking of, I encourage people who have opposite or differing views to jump on the show, leave comments, say stuff, challenge the narrative, whatever you think is happening. The whole point of this, it's not even really a show. I think of it as more of a discussion. Why are we here? Why are there two people? What's up? Two very unique people out of the billions of people on the earth. Um, why are we here? We're trying to talk about the rain in Spain. Why is it the rain in Spain? There is a metaphor. I'll leave you guys with the mystery metaphor um, as to why the title is the rain in Spain. Um, but it's just I don't know, a lot of crazy stuff going on, a lot of good things also going on. So good business stuff going on. Um, I don't know. It's a lot of things. So what do? You just work. It's like the more you play, the longer you play Tetris, the faster the blocks start to come, and sometimes it gets hectic, right? And then sometimes you connect a couple blocks together and you clear out some lines, and now you get to chill out and clear out lines. I'm talking about in Tetris. I'm not talking about any other metaphors therein. I'm talking about clearing out some Tetris space. But remember, the more you clear, the faster they come. That's why they say more money, more problems, right? I mean, sort of. But if you do stuff right, you can sort of pay someone else to play Tetris for you. You know what I'm saying? And then if they suck at playing Tetris, then you fire them or whatever. But then again, half the time they're pulling some of your points off into their game or something. They're using your login to score point. I don't know. The metaphor starts breaking down. You get the idea. I think people get the idea. Let me know in the comments if you get the idea or not. But it's just I don't know. I feel like sometimes I feel like I need to get in touch with folks to reconcile what the hell is happening in the world, in the country, local stuff, whatever. We could just different things. There's I've been watching some stuff about Mike Rowe and how he's like such a scam artist. It seems like he's such a hypocrite, and it pains me to see Americans getting sort of duped by this snake oil salesman. But he's out there doing his campaign, and he becomes this poster child of the working class, having not worked any of the jobs. He's an actor. Uh, but he does it so well. He's like, I mean, he should get he should get an Oscar every year for pretending for be acting like he actually does hard labor work and represents the working class. Because that guy, what a shill. But you know, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. So, also part of this world, this paradigm we're living in, we live in a time where it's so hard to have a discussion about things. Um, and also a time of like you know, crazy escalation and hyperbole and maybe not so much hyperbole, maybe I don't know. So what am I talking about? Okay, so for instance, let's go back to the HOA thing. So I need to temporarily store some cars. I'm discreetly covering them with very actually high quality um, car covers, so it's not like tarps or sheets or something. You know what I mean? And it's like this is 100-year pandemic going on. I mean, things are happening. I've got to make some arrangements in business, and I'm like, what kind of sociopaths are? I mean, is that hyperbole or is that reality? I mean, what kind of sociopaths are going to try to enforce HOA restrictions without even asking about the situation, whether it's temporary, whether, I mean, anything about it, you know? They just said they're going to try to impose upon me. Hold on, let me adjust this. I think this might help. They're going to try to impose upon me a $100 per day fine. Yeah, $100 per day. Can you imagine? In the midst of a pandemic, oh, whoa, for having some cars in my driveway because it was against HOA rules. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's against the rules. Technically, you want to get pedantic about it. It's against the rules. But I mean, abolitionists were against the rules once. I mean, I don't want to play the game of getting to the most absurd end of the slippery slope. But I mean, we used to have laws that said women couldn't vote. You know what I mean? So come on. Just because the bylaws say don't have some cars, you know, it's like, oh, if you don't have these moved by Monday, we're gonna start charging you $100, $100 a day. And the other thing is, I guarantee a bunch of these people could claim to be libertarians, but then when they get a little bit of influence and capacity to yield their influence upon others, then suddenly they wield the power of the government, the HOA being a form of government, of micro government, hyper local government, I guess. Yeah, so I mean, hypocrites. Anyway, whatever. And then also hypocrites are, well, semi hypocrites. I'll give them half credit. Are I should probably tag them, though I don't know that it matters that much. I think it's Brushfire Mind, the channel Brushfire Mind. For whatever reason, the algorithm has put them in front of my face. And so, you know, I give them a try. They only have a few subscribers, at least back when I clicked on them. They've grown up to like 200 something. I think they're putting a decent amount of effort into what they're doing. That probably helps. Though, we are doing all right, despite all of the hurdles. We're just keep on trucking along. Anyway, so I get up on there, and I'm watching them talk about, I don't know, they were talking about some kind of right wing, left wing thing. And they seemed halfway rational at first. So I, you know, asked them a couple questions here and there, and they were like, eh. They seemed to take the question seriously. And then this latest time that I tuned in, they were talking um, about Kyle Rittenhouse and the violence with the Antifa and the white supremacist guys, or not. I don't know if you want to call him that, or if he is, or I don't know if he's maybe white supremacist is wrong. What is the word? Some people they would say patriot. Other people would say fascist. So I don't know. I mean, but they would say that those same people would say the same things back in the days of the Nazis. So I mean, we're at that point. It's not even really hyperbolic. But Fox News was saying that about freaking Obama, the most milk toast ass Clinton part two. Like, it just ugh. They were saying that with no thought to reality or history, they were just playing. You could tell they must be playing to emotions because you're not really in tune with history if you try to say that Obama was anything like Nazi regime or something like that. Now, some people would say, if like I see people in my Facebook um, feed pro-Trumpers, and they'll go through this long list of like pseudo-rational like justifications and straw men, and that's what I hear. That's what I see. It gets exhausting, you know. Um, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Now, something that's a little bit scary is I am not showing the. I'm not, for whatever reason. It's not updating live. So hopefully things are working. If you are having any problems out there in the world, either in the archive or live, please put it in the chat and let me know. Let me know what you guys think about whatever we're talking about. Lots of crazy stuff. Just, I don't know. I don't know. A lot of people have a lot of stuff on their mind. We're seeing the failures of capitalism before our eyes, but we don't want to say those things out loud. When I say stuff like that out loud, and I say that with surety, because I can back my claims, it triggers people, and they don't like it. And I've experienced that quite a few times. So, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like the only safe place to talk about that stuff is this show, because you're allowed to talk about reality in this show. So if you want to talk about some kind of controversial thing, you can definitely do it here. Um, but know that you will be questioned. Excuse me. And if you make outrageous claims, then I would suspect that you'd have some outrageous evidence to support said claims. But what do you guys think? Let me know. You can also basically call in, quote unquote, call in live on Skype. So feel free to do that. It's in the description. Um, but yeah, tell me what you think. Tell me about what you think about the rain in Spain. Why even that title? I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. Um, what else? What else is going on? So many things, right? I mean, we live in a time of contradictions. We live in a time of neurosis, a time where no wonder people feel lost and depressed. No wonder people feel anxiety. No wonder. There's so many. I mean, this is just no wonder. And I think a lot of people feel helpless, but they aren't helpless. We aren't helpless. We can do something. There just has to be some kind of unity. But people are so. I don't know. They're weird. They're weird. We're so alienated by society, culture, capitalism, each other. I don't know. Lots of things. What do you guys think? What do you think about alienation? And I'm not talking about a nation of aliens. I'm talking about alienation, being alienated from one another, or from the product of your labor, or your family, how you are detached, more and more detached from them, from because of systemic reasons, because of, I don't know, maybe personal reasons, but maybe those personal reasons stem from systemic reasons. I don't know, you tell me. That's what we're talking about. Anyway, Brush Fire Mind, I think. I was trolling around. I went back and saw them. I was asking them about, what about the fact that, FBI um, had a study in '06 that white supremacists were infiltrating law enforcement. Now, in some circles, some people would say, infiltrating? You mean it's already been that way? Remember, it was created from the slave catching teams and da 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 da. And, that may be 100% true, but that is. That is. Yeah. Anyway, crazy stuff. So, uh, so many things happening. You know, why don't you guys tell me a little bit about, or tell each other, or whatever, the world. Let's talk about some of the things that are plaguing your mind right now. Um, there's a lot of generational tension going on, which I think is a concocted narrative. This is important. There's going to be a lot of concocted narratives, um, racial narratives, the whole Blue Lives Matter thing, that mess. That's a concocted narrative, right? We see, I mean, the Democrat Republican stuff, concocted narratives. A lot of these real ideological kind of highlighted um, phenomenon that we see in our society. That I really believe all of that is concocted narrative, and I would beg that people don't fall for it. You should not fall for the narrative. Is what I would say. So that's what this whole discussion is about. How do we get through the narrative? How do we bust through that crap? Anyway, so I'm looking at the Brushfire Mind, and I'm talking to them about it, and they just get totally triggered and just start going off on right wing tangents and just really getting all up at arms and wanting to end the discussion. And I was really disappointed. I thought I was gonna see some level um, you know, some level of wanting to have a discussion about it, but then it really wasn't. You know, I hope. Anyway, it's definitely difficult stuff. Difficult stuff. I don't know. The rain in Spain. The rain in Spain. If you know that reference, hit me up on the comments. Um, there's different sides of this Kyle Rittenhouse thing, right? Again, some people will call him a patriot, some people call him a terrorist. That's what becomes scary in our time. And these are things that a lot of people don't want to talk about. Now, you'll hear people on the right wing side, like Brushfire Mind or any number of other right wing places, talk about getting ready to. I mean, they were talking about defending themselves against Antifa and defending their houses and property against these mobs and whatever. And and then they started digressing into a bunch of white grievance politics and things like that, and it just became I don't know, like they on one hand they will poo poo a black person for talking about systemic racism while crying about systemic racism, in the form of, I don't know, affirmative action or systemic racism in pop culture or something like that. Or that the white man is the most vilified or the least valued person, or some kind of other kind of grievance, um, id poll, or identity politics. It's just something I hear all the time. I live in Florida. I hear it all the time. You go to Brushfire Mind, you hear this white grievance politics. Um, I don't know. Instead of really seeing what's really happening, they make up boogeymen and straw men in their mind about this whole thing. And I don't know. They were talking about the looters, and then saying BLM were the same as the looters, etc. And if BLM is an organization, the BLM organization, I guarantee you, is not sanctioning riots, etc. I've been to BLM protests that they go out of their way to make sure there's not trouble, and they try to put down agitators, but sometimes who's the one that's going to step in? Sometimes the police step in. They're helping to make sure that there's a peaceful protest. That's what they're trying to do, peaceful protest. But they lump in the agitators and with the protesters, and it's like, I'll ask them questions like, when's the last time that you were at a BLM peaceful protest and you stopped an agitator before they did something? And their answer would be, well, I don't go to riot pre-party. Some snarky smart ass answer, because they have no accountability. Right? All they can do is squirm around the answer because they have no actual answer, because they have never done it. And they wouldn't, because a bunch of pussies LARPing like as if they're going to do some shit or actually stand for some shit. And they don't. They constantly stand from behind the shadows and bark from behind the shadows and LARP around as if they're going to do some shit. And then they go and actually do some stupid ass shit like Kyle Rittenhouse, right? Because it's not needed. He didn't even need to be there. He could have just gone home or whatever. And sure, maybe some of these people that were doing stupid shit, they shouldn't have been doing stupid shit. They don't get free pass just because they got shot by this dude. But at the same time, dude didn't need to be going around trying to do some shit. I mean, he was in the mood, ready, locked, loaded, in this boogaloo ass shit, just ready to do his shit. And that's the stark reality. They'll try to give some plausible deniability as much as they can. It's weak. It's a gypsy thread nonsense. So I don't want to hear about it, because it's bullshit. It's bullshit. They know it's bullshit if they try to deny it. You know what I mean? That's what he was there for. And he agitated, and then people did some stupid shit that they shouldn't have done anyway. But then it instigated this violence, right? If you did it in any other context, he would be in trouble for doing shit like that. You don't go out from one place. You don't, if it's rioting in LA, you don't leave from Nebraska to LA to join the riots. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess you could in solidarity. But you're going to get in trouble. Gonna get in trouble. What do you guys think? Anyway, they were adamant about not taking any responsibility for needing to have to differentiate protesters from agitators. There's also there's also evidence of agent provocateurs, meaning the police and um, other, what do you call it, departments or whatever, agencies, um, would actually instigate or pretend to be protesters and create violence or create destruction, mayhem, all of these things in order to frame or otherwise escalate the situation. Evidence of this, I've seen it on film, and even the people that have filmed and exposed these things have forgotten the reality of them, and they don't answer. There's an agenda there too. So many people with so much bias. It's pretty impressive amounts of bias. And I don't, look, I'm not a fan of Democrats or Republicans. I'm just an American citizen living in this freaking country, wondering what the hell is this country supposed to even be? Am I supposed to be proud of this country or not? Because there's certain things I would be proud of, and there's certain things I wouldn't be proud of. And a lot of the stuff that the politicians are doing, I'm not proud of. Right? So what kind of country is this? Like, what's it supposed to be? A lot of the ways my countrymen and women or whatever are acting and behaving, and their philosophy that they espouse, and the way that they raise their kids. I don't like that shit. I'm not a fan of that. You know, I'm not proud of that. So is that American culture? Is American culture to have all of the shit, um, which includes, everything from racism all the way to the opposite of that? Um, are we trying to build a, a country that honors that, just so long as the opposite is alive? Or can we be a society that's moved past that, and that's something relegated to history books? We live in a society almost right now where it's like we need to cherish the opposite side because it exists as the opposite. Almost like if we didn't have racists, we couldn't have not, like, we just have to have, like, if you don't have racists, then you can't have not racist. Sure you can. Let's just not be racist. No more racists. Like, no, but then, like, I guess some people's heads would explode if there was no more racists. But, I mean, of course, it's just that rules and laws don't change hearts and minds. That's what I believe. So, just because we changed rules and laws and said don't segregate and don't treat people differently, or you can't discriminate based on race, etc. Just because those rules went into effect, it didn't mean that your dad changed his mind, or your grandpa, or your uncle, and then when they're around you, then you learn from them, or whatever, or who knows? I don't know. The racist is born in many different ways. Many different molds form the racist. Perhaps you guys can fill me in on some examples that you know, but they can come from many places. So, what happens when they become senators? What happens when they become one of the FBI reports? One of the white supremacists. How do you tell which of the police is the white supremacist, right? Real question. I asked the brushfire mind. No answer. They just, they insult me, call me names. They don't have an answer for it. These are the things that the triggered snowflakes do. But I welcome them to my show. I would not consider them trolling. I would just take their opinion and dissect it as we do on this in this discussion period that we have. What do you guys think? Because I don't know. It's a madness out there, and sometimes I feel like I'm sort of rambling on about these things. You know, really, I think it's not so much about what I think about. I mean, though I do think about things a lot. I feel like, I feel sometimes I feel like my brain is doing wind sprints with a parachute. You know what I mean? I can feel the limits of my brain, so I need other brains to help sort of push the limits of what we're talking about to come up with new ideas, and exchange in the marketplace of ideas, as David Rubin, I don't know if you know who Dave Rubin is, but this guy would say, which I respect that idea, but I don't respect Dave Rubin and I don't respect his ideas. But the idea of a marketplace of ideas to some degree, where we exchange and talk about different things, I'm all for that. And that's really what this is all about. So, what do you guys think about that? Are there any thoughts? Looks like we got two folks out there in the world. Anything that you guys think, or gals, or whatever. Maybe aliens in the alien nation that we seek or see and face. Or does that rock beats? Come on. And we talk about next week. What do you guys want to talk about? Put some comments down. If there are, during the week, if you guys think about some kind of cool thing, like, hey, we should talk about this super controversial subject that a lot of people want to, like, argue about. Let's talk about it. How about this? I don't understand sneaker culture. I don't understand this idea of reselling sneakers for, like, thousands of dollars. I don't see that. I don't see sitting in line waiting for some Yeezys. You know what I mean? I don't see that. What do you guys think? Put it in the comments. I mean, I don't know how else to opine much for that, other than that don't make any sense to me. Help me make sense of it, possibly. Maybe it don't make sense. Do you even care? I didn't even know what the hell Yeezys were. People are camping out for these bitches. I don't really understand. Maybe you guys know something. Hopefully the chat's working. I don't know. I don't see any chats other than yo, good evening from Superfan Chris. But otherwise, Zeprock Beats in the building, and it might just be about that time. About that time. Yeah, Zeprock Beats in the place. Zeprock Beats in the place. All right, so thank you for tuning in live and discussing. Put some things, ideas, and discussions in the comment section. I will address them next show, and we will be all about it. This is Soul Lance with Aquarelle, and this has been The Board. Let's talk about some stuff. Think about it, put it in the comments, and until next time, peace out and stuff.